Welcome to the West Coast, land of the best smoke, the valley, the bay, and of course Humboldt. We only crumble, top of the line. Get the blunt ready, cross the grapes like wine. We out Modesto, this the West Coast. Now you know 209's a code. We out Modesto, this the West Coast. Everybody know that we got the best smoke. We out Modesto, this the West Coast. Now you know 209's a code. We out Modesto, this the West Coast. Everybody know that we got the best smoke.
All right, MMA Maniacs, welcome to another edition of Split Decision MMA, your podcast on weekly MMA happenings.
Yeah.
Yeah, and where you at, Joey?
Where you at, motherfucker?
Where you at, Josh?
Where you at?
Yeah.
It's lighter in here. It's weird.
It's like we're operating on a skeleton crew, but we'll get it
We got
done.
to run over and push buttons and come running back.
Yeah, we don't even have nobody clicking us in, clicking us out. But again, you know,
We'll make it work.
We'll bring it to you. So we'll just jump right into it, straight from mymmanews.com.
Yeah, we got Art Davie, one of the original UFC founders, is starting being involved with another league. This is going to be bare knuckle fighting championships. Bare knuckle fighting championships is going to be doing open tryouts Saturday, July 15th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They're going to try to put together a TV show, reality show about this. So evaluations are going to be with the tryouts. You get one round of sparring with 16-ounce gloves. You got to hit pads. You got to hit a specialized punch meter. You're going to do an interview, and then they have weight classes, 135 to 150, 151 to 165, 165 to 180, 180 to 210, and 210 and up. Check out bareknuckle.tv. You must register to try out. Space is limited. How do you feel about another? I mean, I don't know, man. Art Davie comes up with some crazy shit.
I think this is what people want to see.
After the UFC, though, he came up with X-Arm. Did you remember that? Where it's like the arm wrestling kickboxing thing?
Right.
That didn't work out too well.
I think this might be a niche. This is parking lot fighting.
Yeah, I mean, this is huge in the UK. I mean, they actually have championships and stuff like that. There's a couple documentaries on Netflix you can check out.
Does it say where he's going to get it sanctioned?
I don't know.
Because I know in California, there's people that have tried to get this kind of thing going. And then you've got like I don't know who they are, but they all come out and they're like, why don't we just have people fight lions if this is what's going to happen? You know?
Well, I think it was Art Davie that wanted to have like the alligator moat or something like that in the original UFC. You know what I mean? They really wanted to make it like a big thing.
Hey, I'm not against it. I'm not against sharp weapons. I mean, I just found out. I think we talked about it 2 weeks ago in the room before the show. Did you know that there's an actual knife fighting league?
Yeah,
they fight with real knives and slice each other.
I have a friend who's in an actual medieval armor fighting league with actual medieval armor and swords.
And again, that's
like
not
clang a dude with a claymore. You could get really hurt.
Well, I mean, we have the guys that joust each other for the Celtic fairs.
Yeah. But this is like
Renaissance.
Yeah, this is like a step above that. This is a armored combat league.
The knife fighting, they actually slice each other, and they have literal cut men.
Yeah.
Guys that stitch you together after you're sliced up in this knife fight.
Do you remember though? There was a little while back, and I remember when we first were doing the show, there was another bare knuckle boxing league coming out of there, and they had those weird gloves that they took just the knuckles out of.
Right.
And that was going to be the bare knuckle. Like, I don't know.
It's like anti-pasties for your knuckles.
It made no sense. It's reversed. We're doing MMA gloves, but rip out the knuckles so it's more brutal. I don't know. I don't see this going very far.
Really?
No.
You know what I mean? I got to be the ray of sunshine for everything. I just do. I want to see this stuff work.
You want to see it work?
I do. I mean, who doesn't want to see two guys?
Are you a fan of chess boxing?
What's chess boxing?
You never heard of chess boxing?
No.
Where it's two guys, they box for a round, and then they have to go play a round of chess.
Oh,
and then they go back.
In that.
They go back to boxing, and they go back to playing a round of chess.
Yeah, I would do that.
It's supposed to work your mind and your fists.
Yeah. Hey, because really, both sports are a chess game.
There you go. We have some issues going on with the Texas State Athletic Commission. We have Courtney Casey was recently flagged,
and we talked about this with I can't remember the girl's name who just recently. It's not this girl, but it's another girl. But we said that these are the possibilities.
Yeah.
That nobody says that there's a drug, and they're going straight off elevated testosterone levels.
So what happened was Courtney Casey had her fight that she beat Jessica Aguilar in turned to a no contest because she basically had raised testosterone to epistestosterone levels. Anything over 4.1 is flagged. She was 5.4. 2-1. So she was over.
And again, when the whole steroid thing and the testing thing was going in, we showed you, we told people, go back to our podcast. There are ways to change your workout regimen, the way you eat. You yourself can boost your testosterone level by fasting.
All kinds of things.
It's stress to your body.
Yeah, so they immediately gave her a no contest. Well, come to find out, UFC Vice President of Athlete and Health and Performance, Jeff Davinsky, found out, as well as the Athletic Commission, just recently found her B sample was negative for all banned substances. So her B sample came back, and in her case, what happened is they immediately took the A sample, found that it was just slightly over, and made an announcement that she was going to be getting a no contest and that she had flagged positive. Instead of going to the B sample first, they immediately gave her suspension and gave her thing. Now, most of the time when we report a lot of these things on our show, and if you read on other blogs like My MMA News, you can hear that, it is flagged. No, nothing's come out of it yet. They're just flagged.
Right.
But they flagged her and suspended her and changed it to a no contest off of just the one sample.
Right, and I think you had told me earlier that it came from the Freedom of Information Act, which means that, to me, it doesn't even sound like it was a governing body that had asked for the information, more like a media source.
Somebody asked for the information.
I'm feeling like a media...
Open records request is what they call it.
See, so I'm thinking a media source is the one that got all this shit rolling.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So
kind of like what's going on with the president right now. I mean,
he plays golf by his own rules.
Yeah, and I don't care. And I think this is bigger. I mean, Trump, if you mess up his career, the guy's going to go back to being a millionaire. Yeah. This poor girl, you mess with her career,
she want to be able to fight for a while.
Well, she's just going to end up with the cyborg stigma.
Yep. And she says that. She says,
right now, I would be getting some lawyers and start working on defamation case.
She says, even though now the result is in my favor, people are always going to say I found a loophole and I'm going to be considered a cheater. If you look at the science, there's no loophole. It sucks. It really sucks. So I don't know what's going to happen now with this, but it does suck for her that this is going on. That's why USADA says we only announce something publicly when we're 100% sure all the dotted I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed. They're not going to announce something. They will say she's flagged, but they're not going to say it was 100% or that they need to change it to a no contest. So Texas Athletic Commission here kind of screwed up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And you know what? This is a perfect segue right now. If you're looking for supplements that are safe, we're working right now with a company called Fight Labs. They're here out of Modesto. This is Fight Labs. They have considered the best supplements that you can buy right now. They pass all USADA, NCAA,
all the WADA tests, everything, right? I mean, Dan Freeman, who's a known bodybuilder. He was a nutritionist coach for Ken Shamrock. He was on the Ultimate Fighter 3.
Ultimate Fighter 3, if you go back and through there.
Yeah.
And if you type in, they give us the code Lions Den, all in caps, you'll get a discount on whatever it is that you want to buy.
Awesome.
Dude, I've been using the Adrenaline XL and the
Invincible, didn't you?
The Invincible, which is the nitrous, which I really didn't understand until I started using it.
Yeah,
dude, you get so pumped, and again, I still don't understand. It's a placebo effect with me because I'm not a bodybuilder or anything. But dude, just to walk around jacked, all swole, for 3 hours, you're just swole, man. You feel big. I don't know if I'm actually getting any stronger. But
yeah.
Yeah, but everything that he said that it would do, it did.
So far, it's done.
Yeah.
For you.
Oh, the Adrenaline XL. It's one pill, and I asked him. I go, well, I work out in the evening. When should I take it? He's like, with your lunch. And I was like, are you kidding me? And he was like, no, this is like 8 hours of sustained. I was like, well, I don't want to be all. He's like, no. He's like, you'll. It's crazy. He goes, you'll be ready to work out. You'll have this focus. He goes, but it's not jittery at all. But he's right. It's 8 hours. So you really got to plan your day around the pill. And it's one pill.
That's always good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So this will probably piss you off a little bit here. Conor McGregor's coach had their gym repainted as going into his match with Floyd Mayweather. They're going to call this the Goodnight Floyd mural. And it is a picture of, we'll put it up here, of Conor McGregor already knocking out Mayweather. So Conor McGregor's knocking out Floyd Mayweather in this mural that the whole gym is painted in. He says he wants him to visualize the knockout. He wants them to get ready for it, have his mindset ready for it.
I'm not really upset. Do I believe that punch is going to happen?
No.
There may be that connection made. It's a 10-ounce glove. He's 8 punches like that before.
Yep.
It's not going to be a knockout blow.
They're saying
and he's going to land this punch probably around, I don't know, round 8 or 10 when he's so tired. It's not going to look like that, but
we got to get a mural like that put in here.
we telling you, I could put watch right here. I'm going to put this up. And then this. And then this.
We get all kinds of stuff.
Oh, it's going to be crazy.
I think, I don't know if you saw this recently, Maynard from Tool.
Oh, yeah.
Big fan of Nick Diaz.
Yeah.
Or Nate Diaz, excuse me. Nate was there. And Nate Diaz, he got the Stockton Slap Maynard. Maynard asked him to Stockton Slap him.
Yeah.
I think we need to make that happen with Joey. And then we'll muralize it.
No, I already asked. Oh, if we could have Nate slap him?
Nate slap Joey,
No,
Stockton
fuck,
slap Joey, and then we'll snapshot it, and then we'll have it muralized right here.
No, I just want to slap Joey. And like I told him, I'll give him 2-1. I'll give him fucking 5-1.
Obviously, it's some sad news we have to bring up here is former UFC veteran Tim Hague has passed away. Tim Hague was in a boxing match in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, where they've had a couple things go on with the commission that are not necessarily correct.
And there's so
you
much
can read
going
more
on
into
around
that.
this.
It's really hard to talk about all the things and all the different factors that are going on. However, Tim Hague became a boxer.
Right.
He retired from mixed martial arts and became a boxer. He was 1-2 in boxing, so not doing the best.
All right.
But he's only had 3 fights, so it's not that bad. He took a fight on 2 weeks' notice up against the guy who is 7-1 and coming off of a title defense. That fighter, again, they went 2 rounds, and Tim Hague did not look quite right, in my opinion, watching it. You can find the footage up on YouTube. He got two knockdowns.
The hindsight on all of this is obviously 2020.
Yeah, he did. He have 2 knockdowns during the fight. I saw 3 knockdowns total. Again, this is over 2 rounds. Two knockdowns in the first and a knockdown, I believe, in the second round. I don't know how many knockdowns you're allowed in boxing. I know in kickboxing it's 2 per round and then you're done.
Right.
I don't know exactly the rules that were going on with here.
Right. It changes every sanctioning body.
There was another thing that, he tried to shoot a double leg at one point after getting hit pretty hard, where obviously his mind wasn't there. He's thinking MMA again. Or there's another point where it looked like he was clinching, going for like a Muay Thai clinch, and again they had to separate him. So I don't know. I don't know if the ref is to blame. I don't know if Tim's to blame for saying he could continue. I don't know if his corner's to blame. I don't know if there's anybody really to blame, but this is a very tragic event that has happened. Basically, he was knocked out. He was knocked unconscious. They carried him out of the arena. He went to the hospital. Later that night, he was pronounced brain dead. He has passed away. Right. It's very, very sad. A lot of these things are going into. There's a lot of things happening. He was doing.
I mean, you don't want to be part of any type of finger pointing.
No,
laying blame.
I mean, but the thing is I don't understand how the guy was sanctioned to fight. First of all, I don't know how this fight was made as a sanction, but we're about to see a guy who's 49-0 fight against a guy who's 0-0. So, I mean, who knows? But he had lost 4 of his last fights by knockout. Edmonton's rules, which have been pointed out a couple times, state that if you have lost 3 times by knockout in the last year, you're supposed to have a year off. So I don't know where he was allowed somehow to let this kind of go through.
Again,
it's very, very hard to talk about.
Right.
T's and P's definitely go to Tim Hague's family. T's and P's definitely go to his opponent's family too, and him.
And that's who
Adam Braidwood.
As much as I feel sorry for his wife and kids and everything.
Oh man!
But the guy whose hands did this, and some of the flack that he's getting, some of the stuff that's being said. I mean,
yeah. He's done.
And this goes back to what I say. Even like when like at a football game when 2 guys start to fight, when you start to have a physical battle with another man, this is a possibility.
Yeah,
Death
can happen.
Is a possibility when you have a physical altercation with even in a sanctioned fight like this.
Yep.
I mean, we all are like a computer, and you either have a reset button or abort.
Yeah. So very, very sad news. Again, I'm sure much more will come out of this as the time goes by. Like I said, they're talking about how he got sanctioned. They're talking about should he have not been able to fight. They're talking about, should he been able to continue. Apparently there are going to be some investigations going into this. Again, very sad news about Tim Hague.
Yeah, but the deeper that they go into this investigation, you could start infringing upon people's, if people want to fight and this is what they want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
And
not going to stop him.
That was, I mean, the thing that I was reading, there was an interview with his opponent, and he said, look, he said multiple times he's still good. He's off the referees deciding that he's still, obviously able to have the conversation. He says he's able to continue. Who are you to stop that person?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's what we do for a living. We fight for a living. So
you don't want the guy to have to come back like under an assumed name.
Yeah.
And we know that happens.
Yeah. Things change.
Yeah.
Some other news over the week. Obviously, we have some big news. I know this was kind of a ongoing little discussion with me and you the other day about this. Germaine de Randa has been stripped of her featherweight championship belt with no defenses. She's been stripped in less than a year of getting it. Obviously, she fought Holly Holm, who won the initial belt at 145 for the women's division in the UFC at UFC 208 back in February. There were only 3 fighters signed to the division: Holly Holm, Germaine de Randa, and Christine Cyborg Justino. Germaine de Randa came out after her win and said that she refused to fight Germaine de Randa Germaine de Randa refused to fight Cyborg because she said, we have talked, we believe, we read this a couple weeks ago, that Cyborg is a known and proven cheater. She's been under scrutiny, however, she's always managed to pop for something. What she is talking about, obviously, is that back in 2011 in Strikeforce, that Cyborg tested positive for steroids. Since then, had her suspension. Since then, has come back and done pretty darn well in Invicta where she was at. And then she did test positive for a banned diuretic, which, come to find out, she was on a medical release for.
Right.
So it's kind of strange what's going on. What we have with the women's division is we have them challenge for the belt. The inaugural belt, obviously, Holly Holm is now back to 135. She just fought Betch Cordero, which we'll get into here in a minute. The only other fighter under contract that are listed for weatherweights is Randa. The other one is Cyborg. Randa says she won't fight Cyborg. But
it's not her fault that they don't have her division set. You can't tell me that you don't have 10 girls in that weight class. There's 5 right there. There's 10 girls. There should be 10 girls under her. Those are 5 fights that you can have. And then to say that, hey, you're supposed to fight the number 1 contender.
Yep.
But then we tell DJ, you don't fight your number 1 contender. You fight somebody from another weight division
that would become the number 1 contender.
Right. And they're telling her that this is the fight that we told you have to have. Okay, meanwhile, in the 155 class, we've got 10 guys waiting for one guy who's not even fighting in MMA.
It's gonna be boxing, yep.
To go make money.
Yep.
It's not even for anything.
I
it's just to make money. This girl, and I understand, if in a year she decides that she's not going to defend that belt, then strip her of the belt. But to strip her of the belt strictly to help sell 214, which is what it's for. That's what it's for.
I don't know, because the other thing is...
and it's not even what we want. It's not even what we want. We just want to see the fight. We don't even care if it's for a belt. But the UFC and the new ownership has this idea, people won't show up unless it's for a belt, which is why we're stuck with all these fucking interim belts. But I mean, we don't want the interim belt.
We also have Germaine de Randa who's saying that she was not going to fight Cyborg flat out. She's not going to fight her. She said she would rather go back to 135.
Doesn't matter. She has a year.
So if she's going to go back to 135, the belt's vacant. That's how I feel.
Tyron Woodley forgot turn down a fight with his number 1 contender. Conor McGregor's not even talking about fighting in his division. and then they say, you know what I mean? And the UFC is the one that make the decision. You can't tell me there's not 3 guys chomping at the bit to fight Conor McGregor.
Oh, true. But
who want that fight?
They're making him money. Conor McGregor is making the UFC money. That's what's happening.
I get that. But
so she says, this is from the UFC. UFC's informed Germaine de Randa and her management team she is being removed from the featherweight championship due to her unwillingness to fight the number 1 contender, Chris Cyborg Justino. Subsequently, top contender Justino will now face the newly signed former because she signed Invicta featherweight champion Mega Anderson. So this will be going down UFC 214, Cormier versus Jones, July 29th. You are the fight that they've been talking about, the one Cyborg's been bitching about. Oh, you should need to sign her, you need to make her fight me. You need to make her fight me. You have to sign her first. Now that they signed her, now you can make the argument. It's going to happen. It will be for the vacant belt. The UFC says they maintain any champion is expected to accept fights against top contenders in their respective weight class in order to maintain the integrity of the sport, which I understand is what upsets you the most, which is funny.
It's a joke. Like even take Conor out.
Yep.
Just take Conor out. Let's talk about what DJ's going through. DJ wants to fight the number 1 contender in his weight class, and they're trying to make some circus match out of that. And they told him it's about money.
Yeah.
They told him it's not about contendership. They're telling her they're taking her belt because of contendership.
Well, I mean, the thing at least with her is Germaine Randa. Again, there's one fighter in the weight class. I guess, would you be upset as if it was she had to fight Megan Anderson? I guess they could have signed Megan Anderson and said, Germaine, you're fighting Maynard Anderson. She would have said yes because it's not Cyborg, right?
No, I would have made them both fight, and people would have paid to watch them fight
a number one contendership spot
for the contendership spot. But
then,
I'm telling you, UFC and the
if
new
Cyborg won that fight and then turns around and they go, okay, she won the number one contendership
I would be
fight,
on board.
And she says, I'm not going to fight her. You're cool.
Yeah, I would.
But because it was less than the year, that's what's kind of most. Like I said, it is. It's the rules seem to change no matter who you're talking to.
Right.
Depends on the fighter. It depends on who it is. DJ, he wants to fight the number one guy, which is technically the number 3 in the rankings, but he's already defeated the first 2. So number 3 is next, and they go, nope, we're going to bring in TJ. He's the number 1.
My problem is the inconsistency. But I mean, that's my problem.
That's been going on
that's my problem with scoring.
Yeah.
That's my problem with pain.
Yeah.
That's my problem with promoting.
Yep.
I mean, the inconsistencies, and it's all basically like someone's in a room flipping a fucking coin or throwing darts.
I think it's more like who's going to make us money. We don't have to abide by the rules.
See, that's bullshit too, because I can tell you right now, I could make money off DJ.
Yeah, I think there's been multiple articles that have recently come out saying that it's the UFC's fault for failing to promote him. You have the number 1 guy. You have the pound for pound guy.
Dude, he's
you
comical.
Made a show on him, but that was all you did. And even then, he was only on there for a little bit. You know what I mean?
He's comical. He's down to do whatever.
Yeah.
There's so much that you could do with him. Like Conor McGregor, I mean, he's got one side. He plays the whatever he is, he plays him.
Yeah, he plays himself.
But
Turned to 11.
Demetrius Johnson, if you've ever watch him play in video games.
Oh,
dude,
his Twitches
freaking
are
hilarious.
Great. Yeah, they're really funny.
So
now, obviously, we don't have another fighter for Invicta. Invicta has pulled Anderson out of her fight. So now, poor Helena Kolesnik, who has been waiting to fight Anderson, is now going to be fighting Tanya Evinger. Tanya Evinger is moving up in weight to fight her. This will be a non-title bout just so they can kind of save their card. Good for Tanya for stepping up, man.
She's the current bantamweight championship. How come Evinger is not in the UFC?
Yeah, I don't know. We've talked about it before.
I think it's because she's outspoken and she's got, and I'm sorry, Tanya. I'm just going to tell everybody, she's got a bigger dick than Dana. She does. Right, Eric? I think Eric's the one that told me that.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So I do believe Tanya, and again, she went on the Ultimate Fighter. She didn't make it past the prelims. She's obviously proven that she deserves to be there by being the Invicta Championship. And I know there's a lot of people that are upset that the UFC keeps taking all of the big all the big talent from Invicta and leaving with Invicta, but that's kind of what they do is they go to these other small organizations and they take the top guys. Everybody wants to go to the UFC or now Bellator. We'll get to that in a minute, but everybody wants to go to the big show. They're okay with feeding talent to them.
Give me one person that started strictly in the UFC.
Yeah, that has never had.
Not even Golden Boy started strictly in the UFC.
So we'll see.
Sage Northcutt, maybe.
No, he fought on some smaller cards too. That's where he was found on looking for a fight.
Oh, that's right, looking for a fight. Yeah, see, you gotta start somewhere. And you can't be mad when you're a feeder league. You know what we're talking about.
It is what it is.
It is.
Not a feeder league. Someone who is obviously we've been talking about doing very, very well is Bellator. They have become what we like to say the number 2 organization. I'm probably vying for the number 1 spot at some time soon, but not yet.
We're number 2. Yeah, we're number 2. We're the shit.
I feel like we're the Cheers gang right now. Every time they go against Gary's Old Turn Tavern.
Yeah. You know what? There's maybe 2% of our audience
that knows that reference.
What we're talking about. Again, there's
21
there's 21 to 30 year olds that are going, what's this Cheers they're talking about?
Gary's Old Time Tavern.
Oh my god.
Anyway,
maybe I could Hulu that.
Scott Coker recently sat down with Business Insider magazine and website and talked to them about their 6-point plan that they're trying to do to challenge the UFC. What I hear a lot of this is a big problem for the lawsuit against the UFC, saying that it was a monopoly, unless they can somehow try to timestamp it and say, well, between this year and this year it was a problem, but now we're good.
Yeah. Until Viacom unzipped their pants and laid it on the table. Because I really think that's what happened. I think Viacom got involved because they knew the sale was going to happen. I think that there was a point where Viacom
tried to buy. I heard that. I heard rumors of that back in the time when their buyers were trying to be figuring out who it was. Scott Coker has basically said he was trying to create Strikeforce 2.0, which I'm 100% okay with. Because back in the day, Strikeforce 2.0, our original Strikeforce, was pretty much a competitor with the UFC.
Right.
Had some great talent. That's why the UFC ended up turning around and buying them. And a lot of the guys. Scott Coker makes a big...
I would say they were kissing cousins at that point.
A big point, saying, look at the stars of MMA today. Tyron Woodley, Daniel Cormier, even Ronda Rousey. They all came from Strikeforce. They came from my organization. That some of the top guys right now came from my organization.
Right.
This is what we're saying. We are okay with taking fighters, and we know that we have to cherish them. He's like, you either write a $4 billion check or you spend hundreds of millions of dollars on fighters. That's the key. He says, all my fighters know I'm a fan of theirs. I'm a fan of martial artists because I'm a martial artist myself. They know that I think of them as stars, and we will facilitate in building their stock. They said we're going to get blue chip sponsors. We already have Miller Lite and Dave & Buster's. Obviously, the Monster Energy drink sponsorship is huge, especially with Monster bringing Bellator over to the NASCAR and getting NASCAR eyes on MMA.
Yeah, not only that, but look at MTV. MTV's trying to go back to their old programming thing. If you put a fight on MTV, which Viacom owns,
Yep.
I think the kids go ape shit for it.
Well, why not? Yeah. He says development of talent. He says, when I first came to Bellator, I wanted to do basically like we did with Strikeforce. We're going to look for the next generation. We signed a guy like Aaron Pico. He's like, we're going to sign people that are doing Olympic bids in judo or boxing or wrestling, and we'll even sponsor that bid, because if you're a 17-year-old prospect and we believe in your talent, when you're ready to make the transition to MMA after your Olympic bid that we help pay for, we want you to come to us. We want to give you a monthly wage and support you. We're also going to find you gyms for you to go train other aspects of MMA, and so that you make the transition well.
See, this is an NBA, NFL mindset.
Yep. We want to be... we're going to make sure that these guys are gonna do well. He says, just like Pico's going to have his first fight here in New York, and he's going to be a big star, I guarantee it. We're also about producing great fights for TV ratings. He said in 2014, Bellator averaged 762,000 viewers on Spike. In 2017, it's already increased 20%. That's 922,000 viewers on Spike TV, on just TV. They're doing kind of what they talked about back that Elite XC did when they used to have they had the biggest MMA fight on CBS on the big channel. So we'll see where it ends up going. But again, these are all really smart things. He says Saturday's Bellator does well on pay-per-view. Good times may have already arrived. We're looking for numbers anywhere around to mid to 200,000s is respectable. If we get 300,000s, we're in a big hit. If they get those on pay-per-view, so I mean, it seemed like they're reachable goals. He's not saying we're going to do a million,
especially with. If you see tomorrow, Tito and Liddell
stare down.
I
don't think it's going to happen.
No, I'm just telling you.
I don't know.
It's going to happen.
We'll see. He says,
if they're there tomorrow, and they don't even announce a fight, but they have those two
square off or
have
stand next
have
to
an
each other.
Awkward,
moment,
like Lesnar passes the Undertaker kind of thing. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So if we have something like that happen tomorrow night,
which took 5 years to happen, by the way,
but it's still
yeah. All right. He says,
look at the buildup on that.
Oh yeah. He says, I feel like I let fighters down in Strikeforce when I left, and I'll tell you why. He says, when I left, prices for fighters dropped 25% because there was only one buyer in the marketplace. Prices went down. Now there's two main buyers. The fighters are happy, and we are back. He says, if we keep doing what we're doing and we do it right, we keep closing the gap on the UFC, we will keep closing it. He says, and fighters jump in ship, and people will notice that as fighters are as popular, he's like, it's all good for the industry.
Yeah.
He said there's no incentive for fighters to be paid what they deserve when there's only one show in town. But when you have two and another bidder, they're going to have to stay sharper on their toes, and so will we. Ultimately, it's for the fighters, and they will win. The industry stays healthy. Stay tuned. I promise you big things for Bellator.
Right. And I think we never really narrowed it down, but I did talk to somebody, and when he did leave, he did have a non-competition clause.
That's why he couldn't do anything.
And that's why he couldn't. It was very specific about what he could do, where he could do it, and how he could do it.
I'm sure they allowed him kickboxing because that's always been his thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But even then, he couldn't. I think the person was telling me he couldn't do certain tournament style. He couldn't.
Interesting.
He couldn't pull. I think even certain gyms he couldn't pull people from.
Wow. So we have Dana White's, the Contender Series will be starting in July 11th on Fight Pass. We do have some fights to announce if you're interested in announcing those fights for that. The first week will feature Matt Bassette against Kurt Hollabaugh?
And then Craig Rebello against Azuna
Anawanu?
Any
way you.
Yeah, any way you want to say his name.
Boston Salmon.
There you go. Take the easy one. And I'll get Ricky Tertius.
Is Boston Salmon his real name?
Dude.
Or is he a company?
Hey. I wonder if he gets lit if they call him baked salmon.
All right. Charles Byrd against Justin Jones. And I'll go with Manny Vasquez against Joby Sanchez.
Sweet.
Right? Good? All right. So check that out. Fight Pass, July 11th. We'll see what happens. Hot prospects.
If you don't own, and again, we're not sponsored by Fight Pass, but if you don't have Fight Pass, if you pay for the year, it's like $7 a month.
Yeah.
And if you ain't doing nothing, just waiting somewhere, like I've gone back and watched the Don Fry.
Yeah.
Who's the one guy?
Yeah, where we fight in Japan.
Yeah, where they just punch each other.
Yeah, Takanori.
Yeah.
Or Takayama, excuse me.
Yeah, and then that one, and then...
hey, Don Fry wants to fight Mike Tyson on the undercard of the Mayweather-McGregor fight, by the way. He called him out.
He said he wants to tape his ears back, though. And Tyson said...
Also, I heard that Cody Garbrandt's manager is trying to push Cody Garbrandt to fight Manny Pacquiao on the undercard.
Dude, Cody Garbrandt can't even walk right now, right? He's got polio?
No, he was walking around Germany just fine, even with those stem cells.
No, I don't know. Something's happened to him. Lieutenant Dan, you got new legs. Cody, you got new legs.
So yeah, check out Fight Pass. Pay for it. It's totally worth it.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So we did have what was that? UFC Fight Night 111 happened this past week. This was at like 5 in the morning our time, 4 in the morning our time. This was live from Singapore. You want to check out, where do we want to start at? You want to just go from the bottom up?
What, just the main card? Or
Yeah, we just do the main card recap. We have Rafael Dos Anjos defeating Tariq Saffiedine unanimous decision.
Colby Covington takes on Don Hoon Kim.
That one surprised me, man. Then Colby Covington also challenged, or he wanted to call out the whole division, but then specifically went after the title holder at welterweight, which is a little weird to me, calling out Tyron Woodley. He needs to get a couple more fights, but he is a good prospect.
Yeah,
I did like him.
But both fights, even Rafael Dos Anjos, I mean, that should have been a finish.
Yeah.
Colby Covington, that should have been a finish.
Yeah.
You can't come out of a decision calling people out.
Especially the champ.
Yeah, you can't.
Marcin Tiberiu taking out Andre Arlovski unanimous decision.
Just the fact that Andre made it to decision...
You're all right with it?
Yeah, I feel like he won.
And then Holly Holm knocking out Betch Carrera with a head kick in round 3.
Stop trying to be the Diaz brothers. You can't.
Betch should know that she's not that good to start taunting someone and then not pay for it. She was like, come on.
And then
come on, let's do it.
5
puts
seconds.
Her hands down. Come on.
Within 5
puts her
seconds.
hands down. As soon as she puts them back up, head kick, sits her down, left hand punch, lays her down.
Yeah, and it wasn't the first time
Done.
that kick was thrown.
No, but it
She
was
threw
the one that
question
connected
mark.
well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't even know if it was well. It was her shin. It wasn't her foot.
It was right across, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right across.
It was right in the face.
It was quite a good kick. Same kick she kind of hit Randa with. Randa's was more on the neck. This one was more on the jaw.
Yeah, and it was more of the foot, which means
Yeah.
you get the faster snap.
You had people calling
either
that-
way, same outcome.
They're saying Holly Holm should now get a title shot at bantamweight. First of all, you're coming off of 1 win and your last 3 losses. I don't think you're quite there yet. You're doing quite well, but you're beating Betch Carrera.
I don't see.
In my opinion, Betch Carrera is not that good of a fighter, and the way I look at it is that obviously, you know, with the head kick, also someone was talking about, you know, what did Randa get hit better or did Betch Carrera get hit better? In my opinion, Randa underestimated Holly Holm.
Right.
Got knocked out and paid for it. Betch Carrera taunted for some reason and got knocked out. I think she paid for it a little bit more.
Right.
Holly Holm's never really been a one and done type of fighter, at least since she's come to the UFC, as far as a first round knockout kind of thing happening. She always seems to kind of have a really good build up before she's able to do these big things.
Right. And
she's still a great fighter. She's still new to MMA. She's still, and especially on the big platform, she's still growing as a fighter. I look for more good things from Holly Holm.
And I do too. But why so set on fighting the number 1 again? Why not?
I don't think she was the one that was calling him out.
But still, anybody, even if people wanted to, why not beat up some cans for a little
Build
bit?
up the name.
Huh?
Build up
Just build up yourself. You know, win some more people.
Yeah.
You know, don't go back in there, because I'm telling you, coming in there with 2 losses, that couldn't have helped her.
No, definitely not.
You know.
And I don't even see...
Who knows, though? Maybe it made her train harder in the gym.
I mean,
maybe it pushes her.
She is now ranked number 2 in the bantamweight division. So...
and every fight ups her pay.
For
right?
sure. I mean, you would think, you know what I mean?
No, but I just mean the Reebok standard. I mean, your pay is whatever your contract was.
True. Let's see, who has she fought recently?
But let's talk about that, though. Like, I got a 3-fight contract, right?
She's already fought.
So why don't I fight one big fight and then go fight 2 cans, and at the end of my 2 cans fight, I'm like, let's renegotiate my contract.
Yeah, I can understand that. And maybe she's fight Juliana Pennant or Raquel Pennington next.
You know,
I mean, they're not. She has already beat Rocky Pennington.
Yeah,
So
and I'm a
let's have her fight
sandbagger.
Juliana.
I don't mind telling you, I'm a sandbagger. That's what I do. I'd come in like a wrecking ball and leave like a BB gun. I'm just like, but I would get my money.
We have Bellator going on tomorrow. We'll get to the UFC fight night here after that, since it happens after that, because I think that's going on Sunday, right? So we have Bellator 180/Bellator NYC going down tomorrow.
I don't know how the second fight's going down. The UFC fight. Because they're weighing in today too, right?
It's on the 25th. No, they don't weigh in until tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the 25th. At least that's what I have here.
Don't listen to us, though. We're not a credible source.
Not a credible source at all. So we can start off... starting on the preliminary cards, it's going to be on Bellator. We have Bradley Desor against Nate Gibb. The one thing I just want to mention, I mean, we could skip the prelims. You can go over and figure out who they're going to be on it. I know, but one of the things that I thought was hilarious, Matt Rizzo is going up against Sergio De Silva. Sergio De Silva made an ass of himself today, trying to fool the New York State Athletic Commission by playing around with his weight. He missed weight. This is going to be a 130-pound catch weight. He did not make weight.
But I thought he was only 2 pounds over. Why'd they have to go 5 pounds out?
I believe they have to when it's New York. I believe they have, because they have some.
So it's like Matt Rizzo was like, okay, so I get to go eat hot dogs and pizza.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, if you want to check this out, go to mymmanews.com on their Facebook. You can find it right away. Otherwise,
it's ridiculous.
I believe you have to kind of watch the whole thing online, but you can skip right to the My MMA News Facebook. You can see the video of him basically trying to cheat. He is lifting 1 foot off the scale. They tell him to put his foot down. He puts it off the scale, starts to get a weight, and they look at him again and go, no, both feet on the scale. Puts him back up, still tries to lift one up just a little bit. Maybe they won't notice. They keep constantly telling him to put it down. He finally gets off the scale, tries to walk away, and says, I'll come back. And they go, no,
this is your
official weigh-in. Get back on the scale. Gets back on the scale, still trying to lift his foot up a little bit,
And I don't get that. When you're on the scale, I don't care where your other body parts are. That's your weight.
Yeah. If you lift your foot up, you'll weigh less. For sure. I've done it. I'm telling you right now, I've done it. It's the weight distribution. It's you shift, and so all the weight kind of lifts. I guarantee you. We can get a scale in here. I'll do it right now. Like, it happens.
Well, I'm just saying.
Go try it.
No. Once I figure out how to cheat on a scale, I'll never really know my weight again. I'm not above lying to myself.
So, again, like a lot of people are saying, why don't you just come up and say, look, I'm not going to make weight, instead of making a spectacle and trying to cheat?
Is he? Look at this. Is he worried about them seeing his junk?
He's cupping it.
Don't look at my wiener.
So, had to come in at a catch weight. Pretty crazy. On the free card on Spike, you're going to check out Heather Hardy against Alice Yauger. Nimian Gracie against Dave Marfone. James Gallagher against Chinzo Machida. Phil Davis defending his belt against Ryan Bader. I'm excited for that fight.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that fight. And then going into the pay-per-view, Aaron Pico against Zach Freeman. Douglas Lima defending his belt against Lorenz Larkin. Going to be an amazing fight.
Yep.
Michael Chandler going up against Brent Primus. Another title fight at lightweight this time.
I liked in the back to the Lorenz Larkin where he's like, they asked him about UFC. He goes, I don't even say those 3 letters anymore.
Yeah, he's like, I'm already making more money and I'm already getting more of a push
and I'm
from
happier.
Bellator than I was ever at the UFC.
He's like a guy after a divorce, that guy.
Fedor Emelianenko is going up against Matt Meathead Mitrione in your co-main event.
And again, the media week has made me love this guy even more, especially when
he fell asleep at the press conference.
No, when he stopped the people from. He's like, I never thought of myself as the best.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys saying this and everything. He's like, but I've just shown up to fight and to do my best. I'm not, for you guys to say I'm the best. And then like he stated other fighters, I would love to have somebody like this guy breathe my name out, Not going to happen.
And then obviously your main event, Chael Sonnen against Wanderlei Silva. Very interesting kind of pre-weigh-in scuffle that happened yesterday.
Well, I got the script, and according to the script, Wandy's going to punch him in the face. He's going to go down. Chael's going to get him in a weird choke. They're going to roll around. Long story short, Chael loses.
Wanderlei Silva definitely wants this fight. I've seen a little bit more than Chael. He is very upset at him. He pushed him at the weigh-ins. Some people were saying that Chael was swinging back. It looked more like he was grabbing back. I don't know. You can watch the video yourself. Check it out.
Some people say there was a punch thrown.
Some people say there was a punch thrown. I didn't see a punch thrown.
I didn't see it.
But and then Scott Coker says one push is okay. I just didn't want it to escalate. But he's okay. So if you go to Bellator, you're just to let you know you can get one push. You're allowed one push.
Wouldn't you like to see Coker put somebody in a chokehold?
Just roundhouse kick him.
Yeah.
He says the big thing he always tells the guys.
His foot up, you know.
Like from Surf Ninjas, man. He was crazy in that movie. You could check out the whole thing. He says he always whispers to these guys, nobody gets paid tonight, save it for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which is very smart. And he goes, no one's getting it. Basically, don't fuck it up, because if I have to cancel this fight because you're in a fight.
I love his demeanor over Dana's.
Yeah. He's a great promoter.
Hey, you fucking clown shoes.
So yeah, check out Bellator. Again, you have the prelims, the pre-prelims on Bellator.com. You can check out the 180 card on Spike TV, and then move over to the actual pay-per-view. Second time they're doing a pay-per-view, all going down from New York. And then we have on the 25th of June, UFC is going to be doing a card portion on Fight Pass, Fox Sports 2, and then up to the main card on Fox Sports 1. I'm actually pretty excited about this card. I didn't realize how stacked this card was with some like mid-rangers.
Right.
As much as I thought. I guess didn't pay attention.
Well, even the first fight on the preliminary card that's going to be on Fox Sports 2, the Powell Horchard, that's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, so let's go prelims on Fight Pass. You got Josh Stansbury going up against Jeremy Kimball, Tony Martin going up against Johnny Case, Jared Gordon against Michael Quinones. Then going on to Fox Sports 2, you're going to have...
click on Quinones?
No.
I thought, dude, he's got a couple fights.
I don't know.
It's crazy.
Devin Powell going up against Daryl Horcher. Carla Esparza going up against... what is that? Mariana Moroz. For a women's strawweight fight. I'm excited to see Carla Esparza back. Like I said, I was trying to have a conversation with a friend of ours over who I think she should fight next, and I got shot down because I shouldn't care. But Carla Esparza, I think a good fight would be Jessica Aguilar for her. That's a fight that they've already had before back in Invicta. It'd be a good, nice rubber match. They're both coming off with some losses. Anyway, we'll move on from there because nobody cares apparently. Vito Miranda going against Marvin Vittori. And then we have Clay Guida, man. Where's he been?
He's getting ready for this fight. This is
against Eric Koch.
Dude, if anything, this is Rocky. If he wins, he better just scream Adrian. He's got two losses. He's got to win this fight.
Yeah, he's always been kind of up and down.
Yeah.
On your main card, Fox Sports 1, BJ Penn going to be fighting Dennis Siver.
I'm not. This is the one fight I'm like, yeah, well, whatever.
Tim Means going up against Alex Garcia.
I'm taking.
Joaquin Christensen going up against Dominic Reyes. Felice Herrig going up against Justine Kish.
I'm happy as hell that she's like almost towards the main of the card.
Yeah, I don't know where Felice is going to go with here after this, because allegedly this is her last fight on the contract from what I've heard. So we'll see what happens. Tim Boach, man, blue collar brawler, our boy, going up against Johnny Pigrig Hendricks.
I hope he knocks Pigrig out.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm rooting for Tim Boach on this one. But since Pigrig, it says now that he's like, I should have made this weight class a long time ago.
Yeah, let me say whatever he wants. Yeah, I should have ate these 3 racks of ribs earlier.
I think he might be able just kind of wear out Tim Boach and be able to kind of grind him out in a decision. I don't see him knocking him out at all, but hopefully Tim Boach can give a... Yeah.
And then what you say
Hendricks
about my mama fight.
Hey, what you say about my mama fight? Michael Chizia going up against Kevin Lee. I got Chizia in this. Yeah? I'm going submission by round 2.
Submission? You don't think he's going to knock him out, beat him up?
I think he's going to choke him. He is good with that rear naked choke.
He's got heavy hands too, though.
He does.
And I mean, he just might want to make an example of Kevin Lee.
Choke him out.
Like, if he's punching him, he's like, don't talk about my mama. Talk about my mama.
That's it. That's all we have for this today's show. Check out My MMA News for your daily breakdowns of all the MMA news. 24/7.
Right now they got a good squad at Bellator.
Yeah, they're there live right now.
A lot of the footage that you're going to see on the internet right now is coming from My MMA News. They're bringing it to you. As always, dependable solutions, innovate your business, dependable solutions, pretty much everything for your credit card services.
Yeah.
If you're messing around with the little square thing or whatever, man, ditch that. You gotta get some dependable solutions. And like I said, for the next couple weeks, type in Lions Den at fightlabs.com.
Get yourself a discount.
Yeah, get yourself a discount. Best supplements that are out there.
That's it.
So from the Rule Out Family Inc. studios, it's just us two holding it down.
Where you at, Joey?
Where you at, Josh?
Where you at, motherfucker?
I guess you'll see us two at the fight.